You held them for 10 minutes after the feed. You burped them carefully. You put them down slower than slow, barely breathing yourself. And then it comes, that sound, and the milk is everywhere, on the muslin, on your shoulder, on the outfit you put them in 20 minutes ago. And you stand there with one question that has nothing to do with the mess. Is something wrong with my baby? Did they get enough? Did they take in too much air? Is this reflux? Should you call someone? Nobody actually explains what is happening inside your baby's body when this happens. Not the midwife, not the health visitor, not the 17 articles you found at 2 a.m. So here is the real reason it happens, what makes it worse, and exactly when, if ever, it is something to actually worry about. Stay. Because after this video, that question in your chest goes quiet. Spitting up milk after a feed is almost always completely harmless. More than half of all babies do it regularly in the first few months. Some after every single feed. Some hours after eating. The key thing to watch is not how much comes up or how often. It is what your baby does 5 seconds after. If they bring up milk and then look around like nothing happened, that is what pediatricians call a happy spitter. A baby whose body is doing something normal while the digestive system finishes developing. A happy spitter does not have a problem. They have a body that is still growing into itself. The reason it looks alarming is the volume. A tablespoon of milk spread across a muslin and a shoulder looks enormous. Try this tonight. Pour a tablespoon of water onto a white cloth and look at how far it spreads. That is roughly what your baby brought up. It just travels. If your baby spits up and seems fine, they almost certainly are fine. It is just Tuesday. And Tuesday has a biological explanation. Your baby's digestive system at birth is not a finished product. Between the food pipe and the stomach, there is a small valve. In adults, it closes firmly after food passes through, keeping everything moving in one direction. In your baby, that valve has not yet learned to stay fully closed. So milk that goes down can come back up fairly easily, especially when there is any pressure on it. That is the whole mechanism. An unfinished valve plus any pressure equals milk coming back. The good news is the valve does not need help. It matures on its own. For most babies, it is significantly stronger by 4 to 6 months, without intervention, without medication, just time. Your baby is not broken. Their valve is just young, and once you know what puts pressure on it, you can remove some of those things, which is exactly what comes next. You cannot make the valve mature faster, but you can take pressure off it, and less pressure means less milk comes back. The first thing to look at is how your baby is positioned during the feed. When a baby feeds lying flat or at a shallow angle, there is nothing helping keep the milk down. Gravity is neutral at best, working against you at worst. Feeding at a more upright angle, around 45 degrees, brings gravity onto your side. The second thing is how fast the feed goes. A fast feed means more swallowed air. That air sits below the milk in the stomach, and when it travels up, it takes milk with it. If you are bottle feeding, a slower flow teat is one of the simplest changes you can make. If you are breastfeeding and your letdown is fast, unlatching briefly at that first rush and letting the initial flow pass often helps significantly. Then there is the question of how much your baby is taking in. A stomach that is genuinely too full has nowhere to put the overflow except back. Babies, especially bottle-fed ones, can be encouraged to take more than they need because the flow does not stop on its own. Watch for the early signals that enough is enough, turning their head away, slowing the sucking, going still. Those are your baby telling you the stomach is nearly there. Following those cues keeps the stomach from reaching the point where bringing it back up becomes inevitable. And then, after the feed, keeping your baby upright for 15 to 20 minutes gives the stomach time to begin emptying before you lay them down. It is not foolproof, but it removes the moment of maximum pressure from the moment of maximum fullness. None of this will stop spitting up entirely. But each of these things removes one reason it happens, and sometimes one reason is enough. A well-timed burp can prevent a significant spit up. And the timing most parents miss is this. Burping works better in the middle of a feed than at the end. By the end of a feed, the stomach is completely full. Getting a burp out at that point means disturbing a full stomach, and a full stomach is more likely to lose milk than air. Pausing halfway through, before the stomach gets completely full, means the air can come up without bringing much with it. The technique matters less than most parents think. Over the shoulder, sitting upright and slightly forward, face down across the lap. All of these work. Gentle and steady works better than hard padding. The back needs pressure, not percussion. And if the burp does not come within a few minutes, that is fine. Not every feed produces air that needs releasing. If your baby seems settled, there is probably nothing there to release. Most spitting up needs nothing except patience and muslins. But there are specific things that change it from normal to worth checking. The most important is weight. If your baby is not gaining weight or is losing weight, that needs to be looked at. The question is whether enough milk is actually staying down. If the spitting up is forceful enough to project across the room rather than dribble out, that is a different thing entirely and needs to be seen by a doctor. It is treatable, but it needs to be diagnosed. If your baby seems distressed before, during, or after feeding, arching their back, crying persistently, or appearing to be in pain, that is not the same as happy spitting. That could be reflux causing discomfort, and it is worth raising with your pediatrician. And if there is blood in what comes up, or the color is green or yellow rather than white or cream, that needs to be seen the same day. If none of those apply, you almost certainly have a happy spitter. A baby whose body is doing something perfectly normal while it finishes developing. They just need a few more muslins. The next time the milk comes up, here is what you now know. The valve is immature and will mature on its own. The amount looks worse than it is. Feeding angle, mid-feed burping, and keeping them upright after will reduce how often it happens. It is not your milk. It is not your technique. It is not your baby. It is a very new digestive system doing exactly what very new digestive systems do while they figure out how everything works. You are doing fine. So are they. Share this with a new parent standing next to a muslin pile, wondering the same thing. And subscribe for more. We break down what is actually happening inside your baby, so the worry has somewhere to go. See you in the next one.